Hey everyone, Ryan here, or M&R Productions, with my review of the 2022 LEGO Marvel Studios The Infinity Saga Iron Man figure. A very interesting design here, something very unique from LEGO and Marvel that is a loved and hated design at this point, I would say. I'm hoping to get to the bottom of it in this video, whether or not this is actually good or bad. The only reason I bought it is because I thought it was good, so we're going to find out if that still holds true at the end of the review. Set number 76206 with 381 pieces, and it retails for $40 in the US. On the top, it shows a life-size version of the faceplate, or the mask or helmet or whatever for Iron Man. On the back, we have Iron Man taken off to the sky, and we have the LEGO version of the Thanos that we see on the front of the box, which is pretty cool. And we see a couple other things that go on with this Iron Man, including the display stand or plaque and the light brick that's included. So this might actually turn out to be a pretty good deal for $40. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Looks like we have numbered bags up to the number 4, a pretty hefty sticker sheet actually for such a small set. Very surprising. I wasn't going to talk about them, but the instructions have something kind of notable, and that is that they devote like literally 12 pages to telling you that you shouldn't use different types of batteries together, among other things. I'm sure they only do this because it's required by law, but it is comical how many pages are devoted to like regulatory information about the batteries inside of the light piece of this set. Like, it just keeps going until you finally get to the build, which the build is actually very easy, very chill build, and the stickers aren't that annoying in this set. Anyway, we have a display plaque, which is really cool. You usually get display plaques in like LEGO Star Wars UCS sets and 18 plus sets, and this isn't even an 18 plus set, as you can tell by the art on the box art there, but it does have a display plaque which says the Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark 43. So that's the armor we have, and we have the armor class, armor type, armor height, special features, armor capabilities, and power core. So the Arc Reactor, of course, can be lit up with that light brick, which we'll take a look at in a second. But let's talk about the helmet piece they've used up here. It's the exact same piece that ended up getting used for the shoulder pads, which does work for them, as well as the faceplate here. But as you can see, they've bricked it off in the back, so they actually give it a bit of a more round shape at the back so that it actually looks like it's a real head under there, although as you can tell, it's got quite the skinny neck, so maybe that is a slight detractor for some people. And as a non-super hardcore Iron Man fan, the face print looks good enough. I think it represents Iron Man, and, you know, if I'm looking at it from afar, yeah, that's Iron Man, right? It's not a question, so that looks good. The stickers around back help add a little bit more detail, and you can see it's just kind of flat on the back, bar the rounded inverted tile. Yeah, not really a fan of how flat it is on the back. I think that that is definitely one of the worst parts about this particular character. You can see the Arc Reactor is here, this little blue piece in the middle, and it can be lit up by pushing in on this in the back. It's the light brick. You can see it light up a little bit at the back, but more importantly, what you'll see out the front is this, just the light barely lighting up there. It's less noticeable in person, I feel like. I don't know, it just kind of depends on the angle, I guess. You can barely see it from the side, but dead on, you're definitely going to know that it's lit up. Unfortunately, there's no way to keep it on. You can only have it on when you have your hand behind it and push it on, but then again, if you could keep it on, you'd definitely kill the battery, so fair enough. And moving down, the armor continues to look very good here as it's layered. I think that's one of the better looking areas of this particular Iron Man figure, and it can spin 360 degrees about the waist there, so some very nice posability for that, albeit maybe inaccurate that he can do that. We also have posability with the arms, so they have a ball joint right here that is going to work very well as you're able to move the arm as much as you please there. And there's even a sticker on the inside of the arm. There's some of that metallic gold, looks very good, and you can see you can actually bend at the elbow, but there is something stopping it from going too far back there. So the farthest back you can push the arm is not straight down, it's actually at a slight inward angle, but it ends up looking very good. He does have 3 fingers and his thumb, and then at the bottom of the hands you've got the thrust there, so you can see more of those inverted blue tiles on the bottom of the hands. Now, as for the posability of the legs, you can see another ball joint which allows them to move forward and back with quite a nice range of motion. I mean, that's actually really good, about 180 degrees total there. And you'll also see a knee joint which is really strong. You You can see it is only allowed to move one spot at a time as it's a Technic joint, which works rather well. And the knee joint can actually do one other thing other than move forward and backwards, and that is actually move sideways. So you can actually spin it around 360 degrees, but this is going to give you a much greater range of poses. When you want to have the leg slightly angled out like this, you can do so, and it can look pretty good like that. And then there's actually another ball joint down at the ankle, so you do kind of have to have that just for the stability of the feet. And the feet are wide enough to be stable, so you don't have to worry about this guy falling down too much. Like, you can give him quite a variety of poses, and unless I guess I break the leg off, he should be able to stand in quite a variety of ways, which is really nice. You can just kind of throw him up however you want him, and it's gonna end up working for you. And it is very swooshable for kids that want to be able to play with this. I mean, I guess some adults might play with it a time or two as well, but if you're going to give this to a little kid and you want something that they want to play with, this is not a bad option, as it really gives them a lot of versatility for an action figure. It's basically a brick-built action figure, no different than you would buy an Iron Man action figure. It just happens that you have to build this thing and it can break, so there's that too. This is what the figure looks like completely from the back. You can see even the back of the legs are pretty nicely tiled off, even though you're going to see the inside of some of the bricks. I think it's good enough, and you'll see there is the thrust on the underside there, more of that inverted blue tiles, and even a sticker there, which can be covered up when you push these down, so you can see you get basically two designs on the back depending on which mode he's in, flight or not flight. But I do think it looks very good in that flight mode with the thrust kind of pushed out there. And then the last little bit to note is that on the bottom of the feet are translucent blue bricks, which also represent thrust. So they really do a great job of making it look like this guy can really fly for kids that are going to want to play with him. And because of that, this is a really great gift. I tend to find that the superhero fans are a bigger fan of action figure type things in general versus Star Wars fans, not as much. I mean, I'm obviously collecting Black Series and stuff now, but as far as like playing with action figures go, a guy like Iron Man makes a lot more sense than having like an action figure of Thrawn or something. Like, this is a cool action figure for a kid to have to play with. And just to give you an idea, here is Iron Man next to a Bionicle from like 2003 and a Lego Star Wars buildable character in Phase 2 Commander Cody. So that should give you a pretty good idea of the size of this thing compared to some other Lego action figure counterparts. I kind of feel, and I think everyone would agree with this, that a minifigure is just missing here. It would be nice to get the Mark 43 Iron Man minifigure alongside this, put him on a little platform there, and he can stand on with the character when you have it on display, or just to play with for kids, whatever. But I really feel like a minifig would add a bit for this $40. At the end of the day, it's kind of worth the price. I mean, $40 seems pretty much like what you would expect for something built like this, but it is definitely going to be a set that people either love or hate based on their personal preference and whether or not they like the look of this thing, because I could definitely see some people really not liking it. But as far as a brick built Iron Man goes, this one's pretty good at $40. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the review, leave a like, and you can check out more LEGO Marvel set reviews on the end screen now.